We've said it at Loudwire, we say it every day probably, but Black Sabbath, they're the inventors of heavy metal. I don't care what anybody says. Black Sabbath, they are legendary, they are classic, and today we are crazy excited to look at some reissues. Actually, not just some reissues, but a ton of reissues. We're talking 8 records that are being reissued, that have been reissued by Rhino Records. The first 8 Black Sabbath studio albums. All of these feature Ozzy as a frontman. These are actually the first 8 albums that feature Ozzy, and the last albums that feature Ozzy until 2013's 13. So what you have here is a reissue of every single Ozzy era Black Sabbath album. All feature the remastered audio from 2012, and they're all pressed on really cool. They're all pressed really cool. They have different colors. They have nice inserts. So we're going to walk through each one of them, starting with, well, the album that did it all, Black Sabbath, 1970s Black Sabbath. They're all in gatefold sleeves. You can see this classic. We'll pull out the record for you. This particular record comes with a really nice insert that has some great liner notes in it that give you some stories that maybe you haven't heard before, or that you've heard but it's been a few years, so you can read through that. And then this particular album, pressed on this deep red, beautiful vinyl. That's Black Sabbath, 1970s Black Sabbath, the debut studio album from Black Sabbath. Next up, Paranoid, another classic, right? I feel like I'm going to keep saying that as I go through these. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Here you have just a classic band shot of Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, and Bill. We'll look at this one. Here again, some classic, or some very nice liner notes pressed on this inner sleeve that you can stick the record in. And this particular one matches the cover quite well, if I do say so. This blue. That's Black Sabbath's Paranoid. Then we've got Master of Reality from 1971. You know, even when they don't do scary covers, just text, they make such classic album covers. And they look beautiful on these 12-inch gatefold jackets. And pull this sucker out. Here you have some more stories that you probably haven't heard, or if you've heard, it's been a while, so you can revisit those as you pull out another beautiful record, this time on that deep green. That is Black Sabbath's Master of Reality. They've got Volume 4 that hit the streets, I believe, in 1972. Open that up, get a great live shot. Imagine seeing Black Sabbath in a place like that. Here you go. This particular sleeve's got a ton of photos on it and some more stories. And you open this guy up, and look at that, matches the cover too. Black Sabbath, Volume 4. Then we go up to 1973, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Another, again, classic album cover. It probably doesn't get more classic Sabbath than this right here. Open up the gatefold. Classic Sabbath. Love seeing that, man. Looks great on the 12-inch jacket. Here you have your printed sleeve. Impressed on, what color is this? A little orange. Orange for you. Matches the cover nicely, too. Then we head to 1975. This is Black Sabbath's Sabotage. Very nice gatefold with tons of details inside. Check out this old master tape sleeve and a purple pressing. And not just purple, actually. It's kind of marbled. You can see that with a few other colors. Looks really nice. That is Black Sabbath's Sabotage from 1975. Heading to 1976, Black Sabbath's Technical Ecstasy. Another great gatefold with some more great liner notes that maybe you haven't seen before. And I think this is great printed sleeve in here. And this probably wouldn't look better on any color other than white. Matches that record perfect. And the last ever Black Sabbath full studio album that featured the original lineup, Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, Bill. And the last one to feature Ozzy as a frontman up until 2013's 13, Black Sabbath's Never Say Die, originally released in 1978. Classic album cover. Now you see t-shirts just plastered with this imagery. Classic Black Sabbath, 1978. Nice poster of their 10th anniversary world tour. See the back of this album. And this might be one of my favorite pressings here. Look at this guy. It's gray, marbled with some pink, some yellow, and some blue. This is Black Sabbath's Never Say Die. And there you go. Printed sleeve, exactly what you would expect for this album, for this cover, for this band. So these are the first ever, well, not the first ever, these are the first 8 records of Black Sabbath, all 8 featuring the original lineup of Tony, of Ozzy, of Geezer, of Bill, all pressed on unique colors, all housed in high quality, heavy duty gatefold jackets, all with custom printed sleeves. This is the best way to experience Black Sabbath. You probably already own most of these records. Maybe you own all of them. But why not revisit them in these 2016 reissues courtesy of Rhino Records? And just so you know, Rhino is a label of Warner, and Warner Brothers released all of these records originally in the 70s in the U.S. And so this, you know that they are taking very good care of these reissues. So here you go. 8 Black Sabbath reissues courtesy of Rhino Records. You got to check these out.